From April 27th to June 12th, 2006, a delegation of more than 20 people from the China Christian Council and the National Committee of the Three Self-Patriotic Movement visited the United States and held the Bible Ministry Exhibition of the Church in China. The exhibition attracted more than 20,000 visitors in Los Angeles, Atlanta, and New York City, and was attended by representatives from prominent American churches and church organizations. This tour was at the invitation of American churches after the great success of the exhibition in Hong Kong in August 2004. This was the very first time for Chinese churches to hold a grand exhibition of Chinese Bible ministries overseas. While preparing for the exhibition, we got tremendous support and prayer from the famous evangelist, Reverend Dr. Billy Graham, and former President Jimmy Carter. The Right Reverend Mark Sisk, Episcopal Bishop of New York, Reverend Rick Warren, pastor of Saddleback Church, and Reverend Richard Mao, president of Fuller's Theological Seminary, all extended their welcome and support to the exhibition. Reverend Dr. Robert H. Schuller, founder of the Crystal Cathedral, graciously provided a venue, bringing together brothers and sisters from China and the United States who love the Bible and are dedicated to spreading the gospel. The exhibition promoted friendship as well as cultural and church exchanges between the two countries. Before the Bible exhibition was held in the United States, the China Christian Council and the Three Self-Patriotic Movement held a news conference in Beijing, attended by more than 30 major news agencies from home and abroad. By God's amazing grace and blessing, the delegation from the Chinese church came to Los Angeles, where the exhibition made its first public opening in the well-known Crystal Cathedral. Distinguished guests at the opening ceremony included the members of the local hosting committee, church representatives from Southern California, and delegates from the Religious Affairs Bureau of China. Friends from other cities in the United States, Hong Kong, Singapore, Australia, and other countries extended congratulations on the opening. Also attending the opening ceremony were the Los Angeles Times, Phoenix Television, China Central Television, China Radio International, Xinhua News Agency, China News Agency, The People's Daily, and others. The opening ceremony was co-hosted by Ms. Chen Meilin, Executive Associate General Secretary of the China Christian Council, and Mr. Fred Messick, Vice President of Fuller Theological Seminary.
Thank you for your passion, genuine encouragement.
At the opening ceremony, Reverend Dr. Cao Shengjie, President of the China Christian Council, expressed gratitude to the American churches that had given support to the exhibition. She also shared the good news that 40 million Bibles had been published and distributed from 1980 to 2005. On behalf of the Crystal Cathedral, Dr. Schuller welcomed all American Christians to visit the exhibition.
When I was asked if we could welcome and receive this traveling exhibit from China, my immediate answer was yes, absolutely. And if there's anything happening here that would block our giving of the facilities for the event, cancel the other opportunity. China comes first.
Reverend Gene Wood, representative of the Southern California Committee of the Bible Ministry Exhibition, Mr. Sterling of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association, Mr. Jiang Jianyong, Vice Minister of the Religious Affairs Bureau of China, Dr. Paul Situ, Mr. Michael Chang, famous Chinese tennis player, Dr. John Wallace, President of the Azusa Pacific University, and others all extended cordial congratulations. Ms. Betty Tom Chu, Mayor of Monterey Park, presented certificates to the representatives of the China Christian Council and the Three Self-Patriotic Movement. Reverend Lin Zhihua presented gifts to Dr. Schuler on behalf of the China Christian Council and the Three Self-Patriotic Movement. Distinguished guests were asked to join Reverend Cao and Dr. Schuler on stage to witness the historical opening of the Bible Ministry Exhibition of the Church in China. After the opening ceremony, all the guests were shown around the exhibition hall with the theme of a lamp to my feet, a light to my path. The exquisite pictures, various exhibits, Chinese traditional artifacts, and amazing performances by Christian artists attracted visitors of all ages. The Azusa Pacific University Choir sang hymns after the ceremony. Los Angeles means the city of angels. The Bible exhibition was like a herald angel that brought Chinese Christians' loving heart and pursuit of faith to Christians in the United States. The testimonies of how Chinese brothers and sisters love the Bible and how Chinese churches spread Christ's word deeply moved every American visitor, including Chinese expatriates. Atlanta, the capital of Georgia and home to former President Jimmy Carter, was the second stop of the tour. The exhibition was held in the Second Ponce de Leon Baptist Church. Reverend David Sapp, senior pastor of the church, and Reverend Shen Cheng-en, Vice President of the China Christian Council, co-hosted the opening while Reverend Cao and Mr. Carter cut the ribbon together to formally open the Bible exhibition.
Well, I hereby declare the exhibit open.
Mr. Carter visited the exhibition accompanied by Reverend Cao and Mr. Ye Xiaowen, Minister of the Religious Affairs Bureau of China. The opening ceremony was held in a holy and solemn atmosphere, with more than 1,000 people attending.
In 1978, there was practically no open worship in China. But Deng Xiaoping was receptive to my comments, and I only made 3 requests to him. One was that he permit and guarantee freedom of worship. The second one was that he permit the distribution of Bibles without restraint. And the third one was that he permit American missionaries to go back to China. He said he wanted to think it over that night. And the next day when we met, he said, I've decided to agree with two of your requests. foreign missionaries, no. We think that free self-commitment is very important to China.
Reverend Deng Fucun presented gifts to President Carter on behalf of the China Christian Council and the Three Self-Patriotic Movement.
And America lent about...
On behalf of the Chinese government, Mr. Ye Xiaowen of the Religious Affairs Bureau congratulated the first Bible exhibition held abroad. He said he hoped that the Bible exhibition would be a new witness to the constructive and cooperative relationship between China and the United States. Reverend Cao said that through the Bible exhibition, the friendship and the exchange of learning between churches and people in China and America would be enhanced and would further world peace. Reverend David Sapp, representing the hosting committee of Atlanta, thanked the churches of China for bringing such a magnificent exhibition. At the end of the worship service, the congregation stood up, hand in hand, lifting the spirit of love to its climax. After the worship, the guests visited the various exhibits, showing precious versions of the Chinese Bible, scripture written in Chinese calligraphy, and intricate wood carvings of scenes from the Bible. They were especially taken with the traditional Chinese performing artists and exclaimed at the wonderful song and dance show, Praising God, performed by Lisu ethnic Christians. Through the exhibition, many American friends came to know the true situation of the development of Chinese churches and Bible printing in China for the first time. After Los Angeles and Atlanta, the exhibition came to the world-famous Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City, the last stop for the exhibition in the United States. Unlike the previous two exhibitions, in New York, the exhibition was set inside this magnificent cathedral, the biggest Gothic cathedral in the world. Mr. Dong Jianhua, Vice Chairperson of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, Mr. Wang Zuo'an, the Vice Minister of the Religious Affairs Bureau of China, Mr. Zhang Yishan, Deputy Permanent Representative of China to the United Nations, Mr. Kwang Weiling, Chinese Deputy Consul General in New York, and more than 200 guests from American churches attended the opening ceremony in the main hall. The ceremony also received a congratulatory letter from the Mayor of New York. Reverend Gao Feng, Vice Chairperson of the Three Self-Patriotic Movement, and Reverend Kowalski, the Dean of the Cathedral, hosted the opening ceremony. Reverend Cao said the Bible exhibition was of historical significance in the learning exchange between Chinese and American churches. Mr. Wang Zuo'an recalled the past and said he supported Chinese churches in developing a friendly relationship and sincere cooperation with American churches. Reverend Paul G. Irwin, President of the American Bible Society, Reverend Calvin O. Butts, President of Churches of the City of New York, Right Reverend Mark Sisk, Episcopal Bishop of New York, also spoke at the ceremony and made a great contribution to the smooth running of the exhibition. Reverend Cao, Mr. Dong, and Mr. Wang together cut the ribbon for the opening and then visited the exhibition together. In an interview, Mr. Dong said he felt honored to attend the ceremony and that the Bible exhibition will increase American understanding of China and deepen the friendship between Chinese and American people. During the Bible exhibition, Fuller Seminary and Azusa Pacific University held a symposium on the situation of Chinese churches. The delegation from China shared the blessings and grace God has bestowed on Chinese churches. Through presentations and responding to questions, they explained the growth of Chinese churches, the development of various church projects, and the process of reconstruction of theological thinking. A symposium held by the American Bible Society was also a great success, with more than 100 people attending.
One verse in
Very exciting.
the Pacific is great. This is
Sure that quite a few of you
It's an interesting thing about faith.
In the three cities that held exhibitions, the delegation from China was invited to worship in local churches, sometimes preaching or speaking about the situation of Chinese churches. Reverend Cao's interview, which was made when she attended worship at the Crystal Cathedral, was broadcast to the world.
Your name, O God, your praise reaches to the ends of the earth.
Reverend Mei Kangjun's sermon in the Alhambra True Light Presbyterian Church was also warmly welcomed. Between the exhibitions, the delegation from China visited churches, church organizations, and Chinese organizations in San Francisco, Richmond, and Washington, bringing greetings in Christ from Chinese brothers and sisters. These all provided a new window for American people to understand China and Chinese Christians as the delegates from China shared the blessings and grace God has poured out on the Chinese churches.
To stand together, and there I
To honor our Chinese friends and colleagues.
We also held various symposiums, news conferences, and special concerts. Altogether, 30 organizations and more than 10,000 people learned about the exhibition through newspapers, TV, radio, and other mass media, a number that was truly beyond our expectations. Reverend David Thorne, Asia Pacific Area Secretary of the United Bible Societies, and David Milas, President of Cook Communications, explained that the Bible which the Chinese Christians are using is the same as the one American Christians are using.
And the whole goal here is for people in the United States to realize that China is changing just like the United States is changing, and that the opportunities that the church has in China today are just phenomenal. They're way greater than anything that we would have ever imagined here.
Wide coverage in America's bilingual newspapers enabled many Americans to learn about the contribution Chinese Christians are making to the development of society, and that China indeed has religious freedom. Many visitors left moving words in the guest book describing the exhibition as attractive, great, encouraging, and inspiring. Someone wrote that he had thought that the Bible was illegal in China, and now understood that this was not the situation at all. He hoped that the Bible exhibition would visit more cities in America. As Bishop Ding has said, the Bible unites us. Being a lamp to our feet and a light to our path, the Bible will guide us along the way of God's providence.